Who do you think is to blame for this?
Well, good morning. And it definitely was the case that the French didn't turn up to work as they were expected to do in the numbers that were needed. And that resulted in that traffic gridlock in Dover and that traffic chaos that we saw right across Kent. So the French were responsible for the mess yesterday. I understand that they are now manning the passport controls properly at Dover, which is good news, but it will take some time yet to clear through that traffic backlog.
Why didn't they man their passport control booths properly yesterday?
Well, I think that's a question for the French. I mean, they agreed that they would. There have been preparations in place for some weeks now. The Transport Secretary, Grant Shapps, has spoken to his counterpart. The Foreign Office have been working with their French counterparts. And here on the ground in Dover, the port of Dover, the entirety of the Kent preparations had been stood up now to make sure that this was as smooth as possible for holiday makers to get away. I mean, people have waited a long time for their summer break this year after 2 dreadful years of COVID. We wanted to make sure that they had a good trip, they had a good experience, and that hasn't happened.
Then, do we think? Is it Brexit revenge, do you think?
Well, we had problems in Dover with the traffic before we left the EU, and we have issues now. And it's absolutely vital that we do 2 things. One is to make sure that we invest in our road network and make sure that we have those lorry parking facilities, that we have better check-in facilities as we grow and thrive here in Dover and the port of Dover. We want both the town and the port to thrive. The second is that we need to invest more and plan for more of those checks in relation to our relationship with Europe. It's absolutely vital that we have proper border facilities here in Dover. We need to make sure that we're checking the goods that are coming in, that we're making sure that the goods that are coming in, the animals and the food products, are safe and not dangerous. There's much that needs to happen on our border. It's time to invest so that we can grow and thrive for the future.
I mean, we've already had some reaction from our own viewers who live in your area and say it's miserable living there. There's always some sort of road chaos or something chaotic happening at the ports. People drive past and they throw rubbish out of the windows, cars and lorries on the roads all the time. They say it's absolutely miserable. Is it like that? Are you aware of that? Is that what you hear from your own constituents?
Well, I mean, it is lovely down here in Dover and across the Dover and Deal area, but the traffic problems, when they occur, do cause real misery for people in the area. And that's why we have these traffic management processes in place. But that's why I've also been calling for that investment in our road infrastructure. We've had this sticking plaster approach, which is just not working. We have the 2 most busy motorways to the busiest port. It's absolutely vital that there's the investment to support that. And otherwise, the price is paid here on the ground in Dover. That's not right or fair for residents. And I'm standing up for those residents in making the case for the investment that we need.
Look, in terms of all of this, you may not want to talk about the leadership election, but it's interesting. Obviously, Liz Truss, currently Foreign Secretary, she's come out very strongly against the French for this. And from what you say, you agree with what she's saying on that. Is she being strong enough? And will she be a strong Prime Minister if she wins?
Well, the next Prime Minister of the country needs to make sure that we get that dialogue up and running with the French and that we invest here at the border. That's the case that I'll be making to the next Prime Minister. The Foreign Office have been working alongside the Transport Secretary on the preparations for the holiday getaway. This isn't the last weekend. We're expecting there to be difficulties here on the road network. Next weekend is expected to be even busier. So it's absolutely vital this week that the French keep the capacity of the border officials here at the port of Dover. It's vital that we get on top of the traffic delays and queues that we've seen, and that we prepare for next weekend so that it can be better than that which we've seen over the last 24 hours.